Welcome over to Automotive World, everyone. I'm your host, Vinny Mystery, and we have sales figures for Kia for the month of May. And Kia had some great numbers. Kia's been killing it in the game for a long time, but we have some sales figures for the month of May here. And the EV9 and the Sportages were leading sales for Kia. So, especially in this time of such a volatile EV market, the EV9 had an all-time best month. So let's get right into the press release here. We're going to go through all of this and we're going to analyze and we're going to talk about it and we're going to see what's going on here with Kia because they're absolutely killing it. Just some highlights before we get down to that chart again. Sales of the all-electric EV9, this is the big one, the 3-row SUV, increased for a second straight month, leading Kia's highest EV monthly sales in the company history. So, like I said, even this volatile time of EVs, the EV9 is growing, which is really, really interesting to see. Sportage, Telluride, EV6, Niro, and the Carnival hit all-time sales records in May. The Telluride, I'm not surprised. That thing absolutely prints some money. Sportage prints some money as well. The EV6, I am surprised to see that. And it's also not in a way just because of the way the EV9 grew, but I am surprised to see that. Niro has also been a pretty good vehicle, so I'm a little bit surprised to see that, but not much. But the Carnival, this is essentially Kia's new van. This is kind of what replaced the Sedona. To see that, vans having, a van on the list, that's really, really interesting. So let's get right into this. Kia in the month of May sold 2,187 EV9 SUVs. That is up 39% month to month. I mean, when we look at the overall sales, up to 7,197 units, that is 127% of sales growth year to year. So absolutely killing it with the EVs. The Sportage selling a new monthly record, 15,512 units. That is huge. Telluride, Carnival, and EV6 and Niro also set their own records, and those models accounted for 80% of total sales for the month of May. So these models, not only the EV9, but these models right here that we have listed right here, Sportage, Telluride, Carnival, EV6, and Niro, these accounted for 80% of Kia's sales in the month of May. So these vehicles absolutely backpacked the company. I mean, this is insane to see that. Let's get right into the chart here now. Let's not waste any more time. The EV9, like I said, it's a brand new vehicle. So 2,187 were sold this year. On the year to date, though, we are at 7,766. So they are absolutely doing really, really good with the EV9 in this EV market. The EV6 as well, seeing sales growth from 2023 to 2024. And even on year to date, we are up over 2,000 units. So really, really good to see that. Rest in peace to the Kia Rio. This is just, it's not around, it's dead, unfortunately. Rest in peace to that. The Forte, although we are getting a new Forte, it is going to, be increasing in price and things. So the Forte did sell really, really well still. We're at 13,132 units versus just a little bit over 10,000 last year. And we're already up on year to date, selling, just under 52,000 last year. We're already at over 59,000 units this year. So the Forte is still doing extremely well. The K5 just got refreshed. They have had some issues in terms of just, getting it out to dealers and things like that. So sales still really, really lagging on the Kia K5. Last year they were at 24,825 units. This year we're at just a little bit above 9,000. The month of May they sold 5,502 for 2023, and in 2024 we only sold 1,950. So that is better than last year's. Kia, is still having trouble just kind of getting it to dealer lots and things like that. But this is going to be a bit interesting because the K5 is really popular. I wonder if they'll be able to salvage that back. The Stinger rest in peace. This was one of my favorite cars. I thought this was one of Kia's best cars. It really helped them in that early to, mid 2000s, mid to late 2000s, really, inject some energy into the brand. Really also help them set up to like the Elantra, the N line, and things like that. The Stinger kind of walked so the other cars could run. Really, really miss having that car around. Unfortunately, there was no sales for that this month. The Soul, last year in the month of May, 5,971. This year in the month of May, 5,740. So there was a little bit of a decrease, but still roughly within the same figure, about 150 to 200 less. So it's not too bad, but it is a decrease nonetheless. And also year to date, they were at 29,500 units. This year we're at 23,900. So I do think there is still a chance they can easily claw that back. But it is interesting to see with the Soul, because sometimes it has a really good month and sometimes it doesn't. The Nero, though. The Nero selling 3,334 units in last year's month of May. This year we're at 4,215. Huge growth there. We are only down to about 2,000, less than 2,000 units for year to date. So that's easily they're going to catch up there. For the Seltos, not bad, but there was a bit of a decrease by almost about 1,000 units. 7,449 last year versus 6,460 this year for the month of May. However, they are still beating the year-to-date sales for last year. So despite this being down for the month, the vehicle is already still doing good and has overall growth. So nothing really too concerning with that over there. It might have just been a bad month. For the Sportage has been absolutely killing it. Last year just selling almost 13,000 units at 12,862. This year we're at 15,512 units for the month of May, and we're already up on year-to-date sales from just under 58,000 last year to 66,500 units this year. So the Sportage is just absolutely killing it. The Sorento also up as well, both month to date and year to date. So last year's in the month of May 2023, 7,764. This year we're at 8,826, so over 1,000 units up. And on the year-to-date sales as well, we are already up from just under 35,000 to almost 40,000 this year, 39,738. So really, really good to see that. We come down to the Telluride. Like I said, the Telluride is a vehicle that Kia always sells it. This vehicle absolutely prints the money, and it is no difference here. Last year in the month of May, 10,005 units. This year we're at 10,315. We're just about less than 1,000 units away from year-to-date sales from 2023 to 2024. So that vehicle is absolutely fine. Last year they sold almost close to 46,000. This year we're at 44,842. So they will very easily catch up. And honestly, like I said, probably by the time this was May, we're in June 4th right now filming this. Probably by the time we get June sales figures, they'll be well ahead of that number. And the Carnival was selling in the month of May last year 3,231 units. This year selling 4,151 units. For year-to-date sales for 2023, 13,391 units. And right now in 2024, we are at a monster 17,277 units. And when we look at our month-to-date sales for a total last year in the month of May to this year in the month of May and year-to-date from 2023 to 2024, for the month of May in 2024, we're up because we're at 75,156 units versus last year in the month of May, 71,497 units. So Kia is absolutely killing it this month. They're up from last year. And when we go to year to date, last year they sold 323,838 vehicles. This year we're at 320,531 units. We're only 3,000 to 4,000 units away from beating year-to-date sales. So, like I said, when we get our sales figures next month, Kia will very, very easily be way ahead of those figures. And so Kia is absolutely killing it. Absolutely killing it across the board here. And it's really, really interesting to see that. And like I said, 80% in the month of May. The models that we had listed above: Sportage, Telluride, Carnival, EV6, Nero. We could even say maybe the EV9 was in there, but that was 80% of the total sales. I mean, when we come back down here, it makes sense because the Carnival did great. The Telluride's killing it. Sportage absolutely killing it. Sorento did really, really well. I mean, if you are Kia, the only real numbers you kind of have to be concerned about, the Soul is a little bit of, question asking, is that vehicle still are people interested in it? Clearly they are, because they are selling units of it, but maybe do we need to do a refresh there? But the only real two things I have for Kia, if Kia is wanting to do an analysis and look at this, is, okay, we know that there's going to be a new Forte coming out. We obviously know, pricing and things like that. How is the market going to react to that, being a more premium vehicle now? Are we going to see those same sales figures? So there is a little bit of potential, down the road that they do need to kind of be aware of, that, hey, those numbers may drop or may increase. But the only real problem right now is the K5. And not because it's a bad vehicle. I think it looks fine. It's really powerful. It has, it's in a really decent price range, depending on how you spec it. But obviously, last month when we did this video, and I looked around, there was, dealers were just, it was a new model, so dealers were having trouble, getting it into stock. Clearly, obviously, it looks like, we've sold more models this month, so, clearly they're getting it in stock, but I think Kia needs to really just that's the only thing, is just work on, whether it's a production issue, whether it's just a demand issue, just worry about, getting the K5 numbers back to where it is, where it can meet demand and where it can meet those sales, because the K5 is the only one that's really down here, and it's down quite considerably on year-to-date sales, from almost 25,000 to just a little bit over 9,000 right now. So that's really my only question and concern for the K5, and like I said, that can very easily be fixed with production and things like that, and once it gets to the dealer lots. But really, that's the only, if there was an alarm going off on a model, something that, hey, Kia needs to get attention to, that would be it. Let me know what you guys and girls think down below. Are you guys fans of Kia? Are you guys Kia owners? Do you own any of these models? Are you surprised in these numbers? Are you not surprised? Are you surprised that Kia is killing it despite the volatile EV market, and especially with everything happening with Tesla and and Fisker and all these other companies? Let me know what all of you think down below. That is going to do it for now, though. Kia absolutely killing it, and like always, thanks for watching, everyone.